So we have a MAGA civil war is upon us, y'all. It is happening. So let me walk you through it. Let's go to Politico here first. Representative Thomas Massie is unmoved by Trump's big, beautiful bill after president's personal pitch. The Kentucky Republican also said he wasn't bothered by the president's accusations that he was being a grandstander. President Trump called Representative Thomas Massie a grandstander during his visit to the Capitol Tuesday morning to whip support for his big, beautiful bill after previously calling for other Republicans to wage primary challenges against the Kentucky Republican. I have a video of that for you in a second. Massie said he's unbothered and still a no on the legislation House GOP leaders hope to pass later this week. I don't think he wants to talk about cutting spending, Massie said of the president's presentation to the House Republican Conference. He just said, go after waste, fraud, and abuse. It means quit talking about it, Freedom Caucus. Fiscal hawks like Massie, who is not a formal member of the Freedom Caucus but is aligned with its demands, have been agitating for leadership to make steep cuts to Medicaid, more on this in a second, to find savings for the party line tax and spending package central to enacting Trump's biggest legislative priorities. That effort has run up against resistance among Republicans across the ideological spectrum who worry about the political fallout of making changes to the safety net program that could result in millions of Americans losing benefits. All right, that's kind of misleading here from Politico because every Republican wants to cut it. The question is, how much? The question is, how do you take the rough edges off of cutting it where you can lie and say, we're not actually cutting it, we're just doing a work requirement? Quote, he does not want to cut Medicaid. I think he genuinely doesn't want to cut Medicaid, said Massie. He probably wouldn't take off one beneficiary who's not an illegal alien or felon. I don't think he cares about work requirements. If he did, they would be real and they would kick in now. That's the other thing. So what Massie's saying is the way they structured this bill, the deep cuts happen after 2028. And that's a bit of evil genius from Republicans because the idea is people won't feel the pain of this until the next presidential race, and they're expecting a Democrat to win because of Trump's poll numbers absolutely imploding. And in that scenario, the cuts would kick in as soon as a Democrat takes office, and the public would just blame the Democrat, right? So it's a bit of evil political genius from the Republicans here. But Massie is a very straightforward guy. He's like, hey, here's what I believe, here are my principles, and I'm going to fight for it. And what he's saying is, no, we should cut this shit and cut it right the fuck now. Trump indeed told House Republicans, don't fuck around with Medicaid, according to people who were in the room for the meeting. The president also told reporters as he headed into the private confab with members Tuesday morning, I don't think Thomas Massie understands government. I think he's a grandstander. And reportedly made similar remarks to Massie directly inside the room. Massie said afterward he was aware that Trump called him out by name and that no, he was not bothered by it, but he said he wasn't familiar with specific accusations of not understanding politics. Asked by one reporter how it felt to be called a grandstander to your face in there, Massie replied, it's fine. He says my hair is nicer than Rand Paul's. That's hilarious. But Massie also conceded Trump probably did a pretty good job in there. Like, if his job was to go in there and convince the Freedom Caucus and the blue state Republicans, I think he did a good job, and he made a decent effort at convincing me directly. GOP leaders can only afford to lose a tiny handful of votes and still pass the party line package. So, remember, guys, this big, beautiful bill, the thing is a nightmare. It is direct class warfare on the bottom 95% of Americans. That's what it is. It destroys Medicaid as we know it. So for him to support the bill and then be like, but we got to protect Medicaid. They're living in fucking la-la land. They're living in la-la land. But the real dividing lines here are like the Republicans who want to cut Medicaid and then people like Thomas Massie who want to cut it even more. That's what he wants to do. Okay, let's get to the big, beefy, wet boy himself. Here he is. I guess this was after he tried to convince congressional Republicans. Here's what he says.
What are you planning to tell the fiscal hawks who want to delay?
I'm a fiscal hawk.
They don't think this cuts enough spending.
I'm a bigger fiscal hawk. There's nobody like me as a fiscal hawk.
Thomas Massie said that adds more deficit than Biden did, and this bill kind of...
Because we have to fix the country.
Do you think that Thomas Massie is correct in saying that this is adding Biden...
No, I don't think Thomas Massie understands government. I think he's a grandstander, frankly. He'll probably vote. We don't even talk to him much. I think he should be voted out of office. And I just don't think he understands government. If you ask him a couple of questions, he never gives you an answer. He just says, I'm a no. He thinks he's going to get publicity. And you have that. You have that. They've got some too.
Trump thinks he still got the juice. And to some extent, he does. Having said that, something's different this time. And the thing that's different is that right after Thomas Massie got attacked by Trump directly by name, he immediately went to his Twitter account and he started fundraising off of the fact that Trump attacked him. Which says what? It says, you're beginning to see the defections. The Republicans are beginning to look and 39% approval rating, underwater on every single issue now. I don't know. There's a lot of these Republicans either in deep red districts where they feel safe no matter what, or in purple districts where it could easily go to a Democrat the next time around. And now they're put in a position, the blue state Republicans are going, if I cut Medicaid this much, bro, like, I'm cooked, dog. I'm cooked. They're going to clobber me over the head with that. You're going to have furious constituents who say, I lost these benefits and those benefits, and I can't afford my medication, and now I'm uncovered, and all these problems. So the blue state Republicans are going, bro, your bill cuts Medicaid way too much. I can't spin that shit. But then you have the red state Republicans, like the diehard deep red districts. And in those, you have people like Thomas Massie or other Freedom Caucus members, and they're saying, you're not cutting it enough. You need to cut Medicaid more. And to be fair, the point on the deficit, Massie's correct on the deficit, that this explodes the deficit. Now, his solution to that is, let's make even deeper cuts that'll fuck over regular people. So I don't agree with his solution. But factually speaking, on the deficit, he's 100% correct. They want to do massive tax cuts for the wealthy again, and screw over the bottom 90% of Americans. And every objective analysis says CBO says this is going to massively explode the deficit. And here's Trump lying. Who, me? I'm a big fiscal hawk. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm the fiscally hawkish fiscal hawk that anybody's ever seen. Nobody's more fiscal hawkish than me. I'm the most fiscal hawkish person in the world. And that's just not true. He exploded the debt and the deficit in his first term. He's going to do it way worse this time. And by the way, now we're at the point where, because Trump is undermining the idea of the dollar as the world reserve currency and everybody's running away from the dollar right now, because of that, now we're at a point where the debt matters, where the deficits matter. It didn't matter before, because as long as we were the world reserve currency and that was solid, then it doesn't matter if we run deficits. It's fine. It's no big deal. Now it matters, because people are trying to get away from the dollar eventually, right? So, this doesn't pack the same punch that it did, bro. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Because now you have some blue state Republicans going, you're cutting Medicaid too much, I can't vote for that. And you have some red state ones going, deep red districts, where they go, you're not cutting enough, or I'm concerned about the deficit exploding, and I don't want the deficit to explode because I can't sell that to my constituents the next time around. So, he's running out of steam, bro. Look, the Steve Bannon strategy of like rolling thunder, hit them with 100 things per day and just get shit done and deal with the consequences later. From their perspective, it has the benefit of you get a lot of shit done and the media can't even focus on all of it and make all the bad things a scandal. But the downside of that is you are begging for reality to eventually catch up with you, your poll numbers to take a massive hit, the public to turn against you. And now I think you see some congressional Republicans, they feel like, I have to worry about the concerns for my district in particular and my own ass for the future politically. And some of them are now calculating it would hurt me more to go along with Trump for a variety of different reasons. So it's just crazy, right? Because the loudest voices that are publicly breaking with Trump are the ones who are saying, this bill doesn't suck enough. Let's cut Medicaid more. Let's destroy regular people's lives more. It shows how just delusional and out to lunch all of these Republicans are. But believe you me, there are plenty of Republicans who are in purple districts who disagree with Trump from the opposite perspective of Thomas Massie, where they say, I can't sell all these deep cuts to Medicaid. So he's in a no-win situation, because what do? If you can't muscle this bill through as it is, right, then what are you going to do? Are you going to cave to the Massie types and do deeper cuts to Medicaid? Or are you going to cave to the blue state Republicans and say, I got to take away some of the cuts or reframe them and change the way I pitch it? That's why they're doing the whole work requirement shtick, so they can say, we're not cutting it, we're just doing work requirements. That's a cut. That is an effective cut, you fucking assholes. So, I don't know, man. I really hope it all implodes. It kind of reminds me of what happened with Obama with the grand bargain, where he was willing to cut Social Security, he was willing to cut Medicaid and potentially even Medicare. I don't remember all the specifics. But what happened was the Tea Party basically ruined that because they said the cuts aren't deep enough. And so we ended up getting no cuts because the Republicans wanted way more cuts. And so the intransigence, that's a hard word to say, of the far right actually ended up helping the country because they couldn't get the deeper cuts, so we got no cuts. And it was like, whew, thank God. Thank God that happened. So let's just hope this, I need this bill to go up in flames. I need it to go up in flames because this is class war. This is take from the poor, give to the rich, massive tax cut for the rich, screw over the working class in this country by taking away their health care, slash Medicaid to the bone. I mean, we are really looking at this country. I don't know if it can handle a bill like this. So it's great that he's hitting a wall. Let's just hope there's no way out of it. Let's hope he doesn't he can't muster the support that he needs. But the Democrats are also trying to give him as many assists as possible because a lot of them are fucking dying. A lot of them are dying. We're going to talk more about that in a second. But the more Democrats die, the easier it is for them to get this through. So gerontocracy has real substantive problems. But this is just the beginning, y'all. This is just the beginning. This can continue. This could get worse for Trump because as time goes by, he gets more unpopular, and that makes it so the political calculation for the House Republicans changes, and they can't just go along to get along anymore. Thank God. We need more of that, and Democrats should be hammering away on this to make everybody feel like, hey, I got to come out against the Medicaid cuts. I got to come out against deporting innocent people to a concentration camp, et cetera, et cetera. It's a shame that from day one they didn't stand up on this shit. But if we can get them to, at some point, enough of them to stand up to buck party orthodoxy, we'd all be better off for it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.